Okay, so crazy story. Just before we get into this, there's this thing called a derecho that came through my town. So what a derecho is essentially like a super long wind wall. Basically, it's like a wall of storms that have heavy winds over 58 miles per hour through this whole like wall of wind, and it has to be pretty big. Like it's stretched across multiple states, and it whoosh, swept through my town. And my power was down for a full day. So, you know what that gave me was plenty of opportunity to read this bad boy. Let's just get past that tangent. Hello, welcome. My name is Heather Michelle, and today we are going to talk about the foundation of sci-fi. No, actually, it's the story called The Foundation. It actually tends to be regarded as one of the ultimate fantasies of all times. I read it. Yes, I did. I read it in like a day. Well, I mean, it's not long. It's like 300 pages, so it's pretty easy. And I actually really like the fact that his chapters are super short. It makes reading it much more enjoyable that there are short chapters, so I can stop whenever I like. So I don't know about you guys, but long chapters are frustrating because I have low attention span, all right? So the shorter the chapter, the better, because then I can read it, I can look around, I can come back, read another one, look around. Each of his chapters took like maybe 5 to 10 minutes to read, so super quick, super easy to digest, and I really, really liked that. But what we're gonna talk about today is my speculations and hopes and dreams for the TV show adaptation on Apple TV of The Foundation. I bought this book years ago. Actually, I think I still have the original receipt. So when did I buy this book? I bought this book on 11/18/2017, and I only just read it this week. So this book has been sitting on my shelf a really long time. I tried to read it when I first bought the book. And one of the things that was really difficult for me with this book was a lack of character, and I know that it's a sci-fi, and so with sci-fi you just kind of expect that a little bit, especially older sci-fi, to not really have much character stuff going on, but it was just so disconnected. I struggled really, really badly to try to read it at the time. I knew that the Foundation TV show was coming up soon because I watched the developer conference. I decided I'd give it a shot, right? I'd give it a chance because I want to see the TV show, and if I haven't read the book, what? I read this book and I actually thoroughly enjoyed it, though there are some things that I didn't like, specifically the fact that the characters had like no personality, but it's fine. It's an old book. All right. Let's be real though. One of the biggest problems that I found with this book is that none of the characters are female except for one. There is one female character in the entire book, and her name is the Commodora. She doesn't even have a name. And she is a bitch. She's awful. She's terrible. And I hated reading every single page with her in it. And she's the only female in the entire story. Okay, that is messed up. One of the biggest things that I'm excited for about the TV is that they turned two of the main characters into females. In the first section, we have a character named Gull, and Gull moves to the capital of the Galactic Empire so that she can learn, or he in the book, but in the TV show it's going to be a girl, so that he can learn about psychohistory. Psychohistory is the use of mathematics applied to psychology in order to predict trends amongst humanity as a whole. Really fascinating stuff, actually, if you ask me. I think that's one of the most interesting concepts within the whole story is this concept of psychohistory. I would love for mathematicians to actually start getting into this because it could change humanity to do psychohistory. Anyway, I digress. They make Gull in the TV show a girl, which I think is a great choice. First of all, because there needs to be more female representation, but also second of all, I've seen the commercial or the trailer, I should say, and it was super interesting to see Gull as a female, and I'm excited for that. And then they also made the second important character, the mayor of said foundation, they turn into a girl. And that character is one of my favorites in the whole book. Really clever person. I am so ecstatic to see these characters as females. I think that that's a phenomenal choice on the writer's part and on the castings part, because ultimately those characters don't have to have a gender. All right, he wrote this book in the late 40s and it was published in the early 50s. Of course, female representation isn't a thing, and of course he thought that females would never represent equally as males. It's sad, but that is the truth of the 1940s, 1950s. That is literally how far we've come. I mean, at the time that he wrote this book, women had only had the right to vote for under 30 years. All right, so let that sink in for a second. Women did not have as much prominence in society as they do now, and were not allowed to be in the kind of positions that he wrote about. So it makes sense that all his characters would be male, and even if he did want female characters, it's likely that he made them all male because society would definitely prefer that. Who's to know his real intentions? We can't just go and ask him, so we're stuck with our speculations, but I'm really excited to see those characters as female. I think it'll be really interesting. Another thing I'm really excited about is the actor who's playing Harry Seldon. Harry Seldon. So I don't know if you guys have seen the Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr., but the guy who played Moriarty, Jared Harris, is gonna play Harry Seldon in The Foundation. I'm stoked that he is one of my favorite actors of all time. I really, really, really enjoy him as an actor. Apparently he's in Expanse too, so if you've seen Expanse, he's gonna be like the main character in The Foundation. So I really like this actor, so that's one of the things I'm really, really super excited about. One of the things that I did with a friend is we looked at the timeline and the character names on IMDb of Foundation Season 1, and what we found is that there are no characters past the second part of the book. So just for reference, this is the first two parts of the book. This is the second two parts of the book. These are the only characters. The characters in this little section, these are the only characters mentioned in IMDb. So they don't mention any character after that, which leads me to believe that the entire season is going to be 96 pages of book, which is a third of the book, which means there is a potential for at least 3 seasons from one book, which means this show is going to go on forever if that's the case. So that's my speculation there. I think that that's going to open up the door for a couple of really cool things. So if they're taking more time than Isaac Asimov did, what we're going to see are a couple of things. I think that we're going to see greater character development because honestly, that's a standard these days. A standard in fiction and shows is greater character development and more time spent focusing on the characters themselves. That's just a standard now in modern media. And so I think that they're going to build up the characters a lot in the TV show and give them more time and show us more of the characters. I think another thing that it's going to do is allow us more time to understand and see the world. So in his book, Asimov focuses a lot on the politics of how the areas are run, about how people make decisions for entire groups of people, thinking about the long term. And because of that, it's so focused on the big picture that we miss a lot of details about the world. And what I would love to see with this expansion of taking 99 pages or 96 pages and turning them into 10 episodes of TV, which are likely an hour. That is also the trend, that TV episodes are pretty long. So we're talking 10 hours of content from a section of the book that probably took me, an hour to read, 2 hours, I don't know, something like that. Not very long. So I'm really excited to see the world building and the character building that they're going to infuse into the story now that it has more time to play out. And I think that it'll really modernize the franchise and make it much more engaging for a modern audience. One of the biggest criticisms I have for The Foundation is the fact that there are these big reveal moments that I often felt like slap me in the face. Pay attention better because you just missed 20,000 things. Look at this giant reveal. And I literally found myself opening up the book, flipping through the pages, going back and forth to try to figure out what was going on, I felt a little bit lost. And now that could just be that I was reading too fast and that I wasn't paying close enough attention. It could be that I just wasn't paying attention to the right elements. I don't know. I felt like they smacked me in the face. And what I'd really like to see in the TV show is a little bit more time taken to that, to explain it and to walk us through, because I don't know, I felt a little dumb for some of the reveals. There was one reveal that I felt made a lot of sense and was really earned, and I did have to go back to check some of the details, but that's fine. A couple of them, I was like, whoa, dude, what just happened? The reveals are endless, and what I'd really love to see is for the end of the second section to leave with this giant cliffhanger. I'm not going to tell you exactly what happens because I don't want to spoil anything for you if you haven't read the book. But at the end of part 2 is this big scene, and it kind of leaves with a little bit of a cliffhanger. Now we get to continue on reading. However, I think in the show, since they're going to end there, it would be really great to just end with that scene. Oh, that would be amazing. So that's kind of one of the other things that I'm really, really hoping for, and I think would be phenomenal. I'm so excited about Jared Harris. I just can't get over it. Jared Harris is going to be Harry Seldon. It's a perfect match. I can't think of an actor who would play Harry Seldon better than Jared Harris. I mean, Harry Seldon is kind of like a Moriarty character. Like, let's be real. I mean, he's not evil. He's not doing bad things. But the stuff that this guy predicts by being a psychohistorian is just great. And I think Jared Harris is going to do an amazing job. I am so into sci-fi, it's not even funny. It's like ridiculous how much I'm into sci-fi. And one of the reasons why I'm into sci-fi is because it raises and asks those philosophical questions. So I am really hoping that the TV show will stay true to those philosophical questions, because that's the point of sci-fi. The whole point of sci-fi is partially to entertain, but most importantly to ask those philosophical questions. And so I want to see the show stick to the questions that Asimov raises. And I also want them to focus on the truth that he was trying to share with his story, which I'm not going to tell because I don't want to tell any spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched it. But there's a philosophical truth that rings true throughout his entire story, and it continues to thematically show up and represent itself in a very interesting way. And I want the TV show to stick to that, please and thank you. All that being said, I thoroughly enjoyed The Foundation. It's not going to be on my list of top favorite sci-fis of all time. I know that that's an unpopular opinion. Everyone is a huge fan of Foundation, and I will definitely finish the series and read the rest of them. But I think that I'm going to like the TV show more than I like the book. That is my prediction. It can happen. Sometimes TV shows are better than books because of what I want. So there is no character development. There is no explanation for these big reveals. It is just so up in the air, head in the clouds, philosophical, that the story itself is suffering because of that. At least from my perspective and my standard of what I look for in a story. I want a character-driven story. I want to read about characters who are in a world, not a world where there are characters, if that makes sense. So, unpopular opinion aside, I do really enjoy this book, and I'm really excited to see how they do it in the TV show. I think that because Apple is the producer of the Foundation series, that we're going to see really good characters, and we're going to see it ring true to the philosophical questions that Asimov raises. If it doesn't, I will be incredibly, incredibly disappointed, but I don't think I will be. I think that I will be incredibly happy with what they come up with. I will let you guys know, but that's like a year away, so all I can do for right now is speculate and hope that in a year when I watch it, it rings true to everything that I hoped it would. So we'll see. We'll see. What do you guys think about The Foundation? What are your speculations about the TV show? And is Foundation one of your favorite sci-fi books of all times? What do you love about it? What's your favorite part about it? What do you wish you would see in the TV show that the book didn't have? Do you agree with my speculations? Do you disagree with my speculations? What do you think? Let me know. But with that, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you like me, if you like this energy, if you like The Foundation. If you're a human with a soul, click like. Thanks. Appreciate it. Appreciate your business. And I hope that you have a beautiful, amazing, fantastic day. Bye.